Today we're going to talk about things no one tells you about GLP-1s. So GLP-1s include Zepbound, Mounjaro, Ozempic, and Wegovy, semaglutide, and tirzepatide. Welcome to the Downsized. My name is Christopher Durham.
And I'm Lorine Durham. And this is a fun one.
There you go. We're calling this one Things No One Tells You About GLP-1s.
Because while there's a lot of science behind these medications, there's also a lot of real life. And no one warned us about any of this.
We've been on this adventure for the last 79 weeks. We've lost more than 150 pounds between the two of us.
We've learned a lot along the way, and some of it the hard way.
We're not doctors. This is not medical advice. This is our experience. The weird, the funny, the stuff we wish someone had told us. So before we jump into all these things, I've lost 103 pounds. So from about 286.4 down to, I think, 183 this morning. If that math is right, using Zepbound, Mounjaro, tirzepatide over the last 79 weeks. How about you?
You're 5'10"?
I am 5'10" and a half.
5'10"
Don't lose my half.
So sorry. I am 5'5", and my starting weight was 193. My current weight is 139, so that's about 54 pounds. And I am a 55-year-old mother of 3 pretty much grown children at this point. And so I've lost all my weight on compounded tirzepatide.
Let's talk about the things nobody tells you. The weird side effects. So obviously everybody talks about constipation, but that's not the only side effect.
Right. Well,
Right.
I mean, it was a big one for me. But yeah, you can have constipation. You can have the other way with diarrhea. Yeah, the burping people talk about a lot, and the gas, the sulfur burps.
Constipation is what you hear most commonly about, and what the research will tell you is somewhere between 20 and 30% of people get any given side effect. So not everybody gets all the side effects. Some people get none. It varies person to person. Mm-hmm. Personally, diarrhea has been my side effect that's recurred. At the very beginning, it was pretty rough. It was pretty rough, but after, honestly, the first couple of doses, moving up in the titration, so from the 2.5 to the 5, it kind of settled out. Occasionally, maybe once a month or so now, I'll still get it, though, and it's urgent.
Yeah, and so I've gone the other way. So I think I've pretty much suffered with constipation maybe my whole life, and maybe didn't really understand, what a normal thing was supposed to be. So
Bowel movement.
Well, yeah, this is kind of getting into too much information, but on the GLP-1, I do tend to suffer with constipation. So if it's been 2 or maybe 3 days and I've had no quality bathroom time, I definitely want to take something. So I like Mago 7. I found it on Amazon, and I take it at night, and it generally gives me some relief the next day. I try to take fiber gummies. That also helps. And then eating vegetables, drinking enough water, whole foods, whole grains, all that helps.
And all that's the same can be true, but make sure you talk to your doctor. So, for instance, a lot of people report nausea. I've never personally had the nausea, but there are things that the doctor can prescribe to you for that. What we also see is, particularly in those first few months, a lot of times when you eat too much, you will regret it.
Yeah, you can't eat like you did before. And if you try to, you will feel overly full, overly stuffed, maybe kind of bloated and kind of painful. So you really learn quickly what portions you can now handle.
And there may be foods that your body just rejects altogether. And certainly there are higher fat things, higher sugar things that your body's going to go get out now. Not all the time, and it won't be the same throughout the whole progression of when you're taking the medication. It evolves, but you just have to take note of those things, be cautious. Some of those things you'll want to eat a lot less of, and then as you move up in doses, you can begin to test them out again. But really adapting your diet to how your body works with these medications is key.
Mm-hmm. And some of your favorite foods now don't taste the same or they taste disgusting. A lot of people report that with coffee. Like they were big coffee drinkers and now they can't handle it at all. I didn't really have any complete turnoffs like that. Did you?
I didn't have turnoffs. I did have sugar for me became overly sweet.
It did become overly sweet.
Right. To the point of like puckering, like almost sour sweet.
Yeah. And I'd always been one who could eat, you know, the whole box of cookies, the whole carton of ice cream, the whole cake or whatever. And now I can't. It just, it's too sugary. It's too sweet. It makes me feel bad. I don't like that feeling, right? Well, where before I think the sugar kind of lit up my brain and said more, more, more. Well, it doesn't do that anymore. I still like how it tastes, but I can be done with 4 or 5 bites instead of a whole package.
And it's because we don't actually ban any foods. There's no good or bad foods. We certainly limit some things, and sometimes some things are treats and some things are everyday foods. So you'll just discover that, like ice cream, for instance. I love ice cream, but today I can have a few bites of it and then I'm kind of done. It's like, oh, that tasted good. I enjoyed it. And you just move on, right? So this medicine will help you learn new habits. Number 2, the unexpected. The one for me, and I've done whole videos on it, was really food noise. And if you don't know what food noise is that voice in your mind that tells you to continually forage for food, to think about food, to want food, to a point of controlling. So it's not hunger. Hunger is your body saying, hey, I need nutrition, I need to survive. Food noise moves beyond hunger and becomes disruptive in your life. So for me, it was a constant thing. And even when you're not hungry, going, oh, well, wait a minute, what's in the cupboard? Or, hey, I need to plan for dinner. I need to plan for tomorrow's dinner. I need to plan for lunch. I need to plan for breakfast. How was that for you?
I never knew that. I'd never heard the term food noise until about a year ago, really. And to hear somebody put into words what I had been experiencing pretty much my whole life, I was like, oh, this isn't just me. Like other people, like, have this problem too. And I just never realized how much I thought about food, because I thought about food all the time. As soon as I finished breakfast, I wanted to know what was for lunch. As soon as I finished a meal, I would always want something else or more or the next thing, or all the time thinking about and obsessing about food and meals and what I was going to eat. And to have that now gone, I heard one person put it as, it's given me back 3 hours of my day. So it's just become, I can be more productive in other areas of my life because I'm not constantly thinking and planning about food.
I mean, it's interesting. The common phrase is you eat to live or you live to eat. Well, for people with overweight or with obesity, so often we live to eat, and it's because our body is driving it biologically to continue to forage, to store energy, to survive the winter. What these medications do is they fill in that gap in between the communication between your stomach and your brain, and they say it's okay to stop. Right? It's that hormone, that GLP-1 that's giving you permission essentially to eat to live and not to live to eat. Well,
it let me finally be full after eating a normal sized portion of food. Usually at meal times, I would eat and then I would eat some more, and I'm not really full, so I eat some more, and then meal's over, and then an hour later I'm looking for something. I'd never got the fullness signal, right? So my gut and my brain did not make enough GLP-1s or however it works to talk to each other. So with the addition of these GLP-1s, we just ate lunch a little while ago and I was full. Like I said, I think I ate about 3 bites too much. I had a breakfast sandwich for lunch that Christopher had made, and it was delicious, and I wanted to keep eating it, and I almost overate to the point of overstuffing myself. And I've been on this medication now
And
79
it wasn't
weeks.
a giant thing.
It was just a small, bacon, egg, and cheese on a onion roll. So, that really has changed to be able to have a fullness signal and to be able to know when to stop eating and be able to stop eating.
It's a couple of the easy things, the physical things. I've had a bad knee since I was in the first grade. So when you combine that with being 100 pounds overweight, walking upstairs was a real challenge.
Stairs in our house.
Getting to a point where flying and the seat belts and the restrictive sides of the chair were a real challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And today, 100 pounds down, neither one of those are a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how did it made your knee pain better?
Oh, almost within the first few months. Yeah.
Got a blonde hair on your chin. It's me.
Oh, who else would it be? You have been somebody who works out your whole life. And
Yes.
to me, the challenge of that was I saw you hurt yourself quite often. How is it working out now?
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. Right after COVID, when was it? Well, I've always worked out in an attempt to lose weight. It wasn't working out for fitness or to feel better or for anything else but to lose weight, right? So I did a couple of half marathons, some 10Ks, a lot of 5Ks, and I was running and training for these events, and I kept hurting myself. I popped my calf muscle. I threw my back out at a gym doing medicine ball slams. I would throw my back out a lot. And to the point of where when that happened, I couldn't bend over. It was just very, very painful. And it would take about a week to feel better or whatever. And now that I've, gotten to this goal weight, I've been doing some more low impact exercises. I don't run anymore. I don't, I exercise for 45 minutes to an hour, 3 to 5 times a week. And that's really it. Mm-hmm. And I have not, knock on wood, injured myself or, my back has been fine. It kind of was giving me a little problem the other day because I was we're putting some furniture together and I was sitting in an odd position for a long period of time and my back did not like that, but it was fine. So, but even being able to get down on the floor and put together this large piece of furniture that we had to put together, it was much easier, to get around up and down at the slower weight.
Beyond just losing the weight, there was the medical and the physical. So for me, getting my blood pressure down that had been a problem for 25 years. And I'd been on medication for blood pressure, on medication for cholesterol. It was just, that wasn't ever going to go away. So 100 pounds down, I eventually was able to come off of both of those medications. And beyond that, I had what was essentially undiagnosed sleep apnea. And it was waking up 2-3 times a night, snoring, waking you up. It's all better now.
Snore to wake the dead. It was getting to be a real problem. So definitely glad that snoring is gone. Possibly sleep apnea. Probably sleep apnea.
If we had had it diagnosed, I'm sure.
Your dad was on a CPAP machine, wasn't he? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But your mom too?
Yes, they were
both on CPAP mm-hmm. machines. So that's definitely the direction you were
for
headed.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
No question about it. I mean, but for this medication, I would have been 300 pounds plus and CPAP and the whole 9 yards. Probably dead.
Well, I'm glad you're not dead.
Yeah, no doubt.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah, so that's, it's scary to think about.
It is.
So number 3 are compliments and cringe. People will say, "You look amazing. What are you doing?" What do you tell them? How do you deal with those compliments? How do you deal with those compliments?
Well, people don't tell me that. But it's funny.
People tell you that.
No, it's funny. I mean, because I have done business events, so we run conferences and things. So there are people that I'll see once a year or once every 6 months. So the change from a year ago, basically 100 pounds down is startling to people. So they're just kind of overwhelmed. It's funny because weight isn't something that I comment on either good or bad, up or down. I don't say, hey, you got fat. I don't say, hey, you got skinny. It's just, I don't do it. I saw too often my family members be basically abused about their weight, and it's just, I'm not comfortable with it. So for people to say anything to me about it, I don't really like it.
No,
I mean, yes, there is a part of me that goes, yeah, but it doesn't make me a better or a worse person to weigh more or less. So the fact that there are these people that walk up and put some sort of moral implication on, you accomplished this great thing and you're obviously a better person now. No, I'm the same person I was.
Same person I was.
I'm healthier now. So I'm happy to talk to you about, the plan that my doctor and I have put together to help me get to a healthier space. But, I wasn't evil before. I wasn't stupid before. I didn't choose to be fat before.
Well, there's just such a weight bias that we have, in society, right? So you see someone that's heavy and you automatically assign traits to them and you may not even know them. And that's, of course, not fair. So, when you go the other way and you lose weight, people automatically assume you're more fun, you're smarter, you're whatever. And it's kind of maddening at times to deal with that, but so we really need to, change that in our society.
Well, and it's interesting because I have a large family. You have a decent-sized family, so we are in and out for holidays and things, and we've certainly had conversations over the last year with virtually all of them about it.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them have been like, what are you doing? How can I do that? Some of them have been mildly offended.
Yeah. Some of them very curious and want to start their own journey. And it's always funny because, in my family, I have one sister who's a year younger than me, and she was always the skinny one and I was always the chunky one.
Mm-hmm.
And those were just our roles. We look very much alike, but also kind of different. So, now at family gatherings, we're pretty much the same size, would you say?
You might be a little smaller than her now.
Smaller than her
might
now,
be.
I dare say.
Mm-hmm.
So that's weird, right? And she has kind of come to grips with it. She really got offended when people first started losing weight. Her next door neighbor was on Ozempic, and she had some feelings about that. My sister runs marathons and triathlons and works out and has always done all the things. And I don't know if she hears food noise like I do, but she's always been slimmer. So now she's seen me lose weight. She's seen her friends and neighbors and coworkers lose weight. And so now she's been giving them my podcast or our YouTube channel.
Well, she's been supportive.
She says, I've been sending a lot of people to your YouTube channel. I'm like, well, that's great. Thank you. So, it's people will come around eventually.
Or they won't.
74% of America has overweight or obesity. So there's a lot of people who could use this medication.
Number 4, the clothes don't fit, but not in a fun way.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, when you lose weight, you think your sizes are going to change, but I don't think you really grasp, first of all, in this medicine, that you're going to actually lose weight even when you see other people do it. So even when we started doing these shots, I was still very skeptical that this was going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just worked, and it kept working, and it kept working, and it kept working. It's not fast. You don't lose 50 pounds in a week or whatever, but over the course of 70 weeks or whatever, when I was in my weight loss phase, I was losing about 1.5 pounds a week.
Mm-hmm.
So it just added up, which meant pretty much on a weekly basis, I would go to try some clothes on.
Out of your closet.
Out of my closet. So, and I'm 56 years old, so some of those clothes have been in there for 30 years. I mean, some of them need to go anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But you go to try your shoes on, and your shoes are too big.
Yeah, you said that your shoes got too big. Well, I mean, you lost over 100 pounds. So your hat's got
Oh,
too
I've
big.
got one. Here, hang on. Where is it?
I didn't really have that happen with shoes so much. I always thought I had a wide foot. Well, I don't really have a wide foot now. Apparently my feet were just fat before. So now I wear, a regular width shoe and it's fine. But I always looked for wide shoes before.
But so I love a hat. Bald naturally. The medicine did not do this. It
No.
just life and genetics did this. So I have lots and lots of hats. If you looked around, there's hats all over the place.
They multiply in the house, all the hats.
So this is a good hat, kind of a classic.
Where did you buy that?
Online, I think.
Oh.
I think online, but it's.
You look like a little boy trying on his dad's hat.
Yeah, it's too big.
It used to kind of sit on the top of your head.
It's just too big
We
now.
should try to find a picture of you wearing that.
Shoes, hats. My underwear was too big, which was really weird.
Yeah, I did have that need to buy new bras and underwear. So
And when you go to put your boxers on and they just fall down, and you're like, those are too big, and they're like swishing like a dress. I don't know. It's just weird. It doesn't even ever occur to me that something like that happens. And, it's not cheap to buy new clothes.
No, it's not. This top I have on, I don't know why I put this on this morning. I don't know. It's just bright and color. I like bright colors. This top used to be skin tight. I had it from before, and it's stretchy, like it's an athletic material, right? So it's stretched. It was really stretched. And now it's like it's probably too big, right? Like I could go down. I think this is probably a large, and now I'm probably like a small usually. And so, everything's too big. And even the things that I really like this top, it's too big. And it's kind of annoying in a way because, some things I really liked and now they're too big. So.
Well, and
Boo-hoo baby, right? Tough problems, tough first world problems
sure.
here. But
some of it is
annoying.
definitely pleasant problems because, so for me, as 100 pounds overweight, a lot of people don't think men have these problems, but you walk into a regular store, an Old Navy, Banana Republic, Target, whatever, Walmart, it doesn't matter. And although they may have a few things that were my size, a 2XL, a 44 pant, or whatever at that size, by and large, there might be one or two options. Mm-hmm. And your style becomes not what you want it to be, but what's available.
Mm-hmm. When I was in high school, so I was a size 16, 18 in high school. And back in the 80s, there were, they went up to 14 in a normal clothing store, a women's clothing store. And that was it. And that was like full-size women's sizes, not junior sizes. But and so a lot of clothes, it was always my goal to be able to just walk into any store and be able to find something that fit me. Mm-hmm. And I was constantly trying to squeeze myself into 14s, the occasional 16. And I remember I needed a formal dress in college for an event. And it was kind of last minute. And there was no internet back then. There was no Amazon. There was no, so I remember my mom taking me to a few bridal stores, and I found this Kelly green dress with sequins and puffy sleeves. It was the mid-'80s. But it fit. And would I have normally bought a green formal dress? Well, no. I like pink. I like red. But that's what fit. So that's what I had to get, right? So it's nice now to go into any store and be able to pick up anything and know that it's going to fit. And it's really kind of weird to me, actually, because for so many years, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, so occasionally we'll be out shopping and I'll come walking up with something on. And she's like, you don't need a whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but look, I can put it on.
It's a medium.
It's a medium. Yeah. But we've found some strategies that have worked for us, particularly on those in-between sizes. So thrift stores, the Goodwills and stuff, jeans are really inexpensive at those places. And that's been a great solution. And then there are lots of kind of Target, Walmart, Uniqlo, Primark, Old Navy.
Yeah.
There's lots of options. So look around, and then as you're moving through the sizes, remember you don't need to fill out a complete wardrobe. You just need to get through the next whatever things are happening in your next month, and you might be down another size.
Yeah, so I went from a 12-14 to a 4-6. So about the middle, I was buying some size 8s, and I was very excited because I'd never been a single-digit size before. So I bought a pair of jeans, I bought some other things, and then, I don't know, the season changed, and I forgot about them. And then I went back to wear them, and they were too big. Like, I missed my window of opportunity. Like, I bought too many things in the middle, and then I lost another, I lost 30 pounds, bought some things, and lost another almost 30 pounds, and those things didn't fit. So you want to be, if you want to replace certain things in the middle, but just keep in mind they might not fit you when you get to your goal.
Yeah. Then there's number 5. So we like to call that the social life reboot. So much of culture, society's celebration is around food. Mm-hmm. Birthday cakes, anniversary dinners, business dinners, all this stuff. And we love food, don't get us wrong. Particularly in the early months of these medications, you're only going to be able to eat so much. So it's adapting to still fit into those things. You don't want to say no to everything.
Yeah, it was really hard at first, especially the drinking part for me, because we have a lot of friends who are very social, big drinkers, and I was kind of a big social drinker. We would have book club, we'd bring bottles of wine, and we'd all go through them, right? So, a couple book clubs there, when I'm in the middle of losing weight, I physically could not drink. It just, back to what tastes disgusting to you now. I love a Chardonnay, and I could not drink it. It just made me feel bad. I didn't like the taste. Like, nothing about it appealed to me. And so one of the book clubs, I wasn't drinking, and people noticed and like, well, why aren't you drinking? I'm like, well, I'm doing something different. And that's before I had really told anyone that we were on a GLP-1. I'm doing something different. I'm trying to lose some weight. I'm, just taking a break for a while or whatever. And then that was fine. I mean, people kind of accepted that. I remember our first New Year's Eve when we were like 3 months in. Yep. We didn't even want to go out. We're kind of tired.
Well, you're always like that on New Year's Eve.
Well, yeah, I can never stay up till midnight.
It's 10 o'clock. I don't think I'm going to make it.
It's past my bedtime. Yeah, so some friends said, do you want to come over and have some drinks? And we're kind of like, no, we really don't. We hate to be party poopers, but so, it's just kind of adjusting friends' expectations to that.
And they've been supportive.
And they have been very supportive.
Part of who I have always been has been very food and restaurant oriented and chef oriented. So for many of our friends, if we're going out to dinner, they're just like, let Christopher pick.
We went out for my birthday in March and with some of our good friends, and my friend handed the menu to Christopher, said, just order for everyone. I said, yeah, that's fine. Just order for me. Like, I just order stuff, because it was small plates, and we're like, and then Christopher's like, maybe I don't want to order for everybody anymore. Maybe I just want to order what I want and be done.
It was fine, and it all works out. But I mean, food is such a dominant part of our lives, and it was certainly a dominant part of who I am, still is, honestly, that it's really adapting, and it's figuring out who you are moving forward. And I still love to pick a restaurant, don't get me wrong, but it's that we don't have to eat along with everybody. We don't have to keep up. There's no craziness around all of the food.
Well, and most of the time, nobody's really paying attention to what you're eating, right? You might feel self-conscious about leaving half your meal on your plate, but no one cares. You can get a box and say, oh, I'll take this home for lunch tomorrow. That's thrifty. That's not. I got 2 meals out of one thing. So, it's just all in the way you frame it. And back when I worked in an office, I used to go out to lunch a lot with one of my friends, Denise, and she was a very small person, and she would eat very small portions. And I used to always think, wow, how can she just eat such a little bit? I was always hyper focused on what everyone else was eating because I was worried they were going to watch what I was eating, just because of my own personal insecurities. So, a lot of people just eat small portions and no one cares.
Yeah, and to be clear, some people can drink alcohol. We don't ban alcohol at all. We will still have an occasional drink. It's few and far between. So if I go out and we're with friends, I might have one drink and then I'm having water or Diet Coke. Never gave up Diet Coke. Not doing it. So it's different. It's really just learning how to still be social without feeling weird about it. Because people are going to notice eventually.
And, it's funny because the last book club that was at my house now, 50 weeks later, past that first one, several of my friends came over and weren't drinking, or they brought their big water bottle, or everybody's on their own health journey, right? So, most people are just doing their own thing anyway.
Yep. Number 6, your brain has not caught up yet. That dysmorphia thing, right?
Body dysmorphia.
Yeah, it's weird. So, I still do it. When I'm out shopping, I will reach for that double XL and go to that side of the rack and pull it out and go, no.
That looks big.
And then I'll pick up a medium or a large and I'll go, then I realize I've just got to try things on. I don't know what size I am. I just can't tell. The other piece is, particularly when you get to 100 pounds, 150 pounds, 200 pounds, there are just physical things in the way of daily life. So chairs with arms on them, seat belts, that you're afraid won't buckle. Maybe you don't want to see yourself in a mirror.
You avoid pictures.
Yeah. You turn to the side, you're doing all the stuff. I don't worry about it anymore.
Yeah, the booths, at some point were a problem for me. I never had the problem with the chair arms. I know a lot of people have that problem. I definitely didn't want to look in a mirror, like a random mirror in a store or something like that, because I'd just be like, ugh. I was, it's easy to be hard on yourself, right? When you're overweight and you don't like the way you look. So.
Well, so do you recognize yourself in pictures now?
I've been recording myself doing some workouts during my workout classes to post in different places. And, my face looks different, right? My face was pretty round and full but when we started, and now it's like I have cheekbones and my I have creases in my eyes, and maybe you can see my wrinkles a little bit more because there's less plumping them up underneath. So that is kind of weird, but my stomach is flatter. My my arms, I usually would always cover up my arms. I haven't covered up today because I was cold, but because we're always cold. But, it's just getting used to how you look. And I like when we go to somewhere and you go off somewhere and then we meet up again. There's a couple times you've come up to me and I don't recognize you until you're right.
Who is this fabulous man?
Like, who is that skinny man? Like, that's, it just takes me a while to remember what.
Takes me a while to recognize myself too. I still don't. How? Yeah. So what did we say? 79 weeks in on this? How long do you think it takes for your mind to reset? I'm not there. I can tell you that.
I've been at maintenance now for almost a year, and I'm just coming around to it. Like, I'm just figuring it out. But, honestly, yesterday I had some jeans on that I got at Goodwill, and they were size 6, and they were big. Like, I could pull the waistband out, and the legs felt big. And I took them off, and I held them up, and I'm like, oh, yeah, these look really big. They weren't big. Like, they weren't, like, I can't, it's hard to recalibrate that. I don't know. It's gonna take a while, slowly.
Yep. And the number 7. So I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but sleep, snoring, there's all sorts of surprises. And I don't think I realized how tired I was all of the time from carrying around 100 pounds.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you picked up something that weighed 100 pounds and carried it around, you wouldn't be able to do that for very long.
And now I don't really snore. I sleep through the night.
Yeah.
I just feel better. And certainly some of it's from the weight, some of it's from the blood pressure, but sleep, I just can't underestimate what that's worth.
Yeah. I don't know that I sleep better. I kind of hit menopause in the middle of this whole
You did?
79-week adventure. So, I've got some things going on with that. But, and some people do report insomnia with this medication. So that could be something that you have. I don't think I've ever had that. I think it's more of hormonal for me.
Have you had the vivid dreams that some people report?
Yeah, but I don't know that they were more vivid than any other dreams I ever had. You've had some of those, right?
Absolutely, I have.
Yeah.
Just like real life, kind of full color things that you wake up and you're like, wow, no, I slept, so it was fine. It wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, sleep, I don't know. It's hard to underestimate the value of that. And just, I feel like you're burning energy a little bit better. You're sleeping a little bit better. You're moving a little bit better.
Well, when you don't sleep, your hormones, your hunger hormones, is it ghrelin?
Yeah.
Gremlin, the one that makes you hungry, that can make you crave carbohydrates, and so you definitely want to get your 8 hours of sleep if you can.
Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more to it than the number on that little metal box on the floor, right? There's more to it than just a number on the scale.
There is, absolutely. And while the medications are powerful, the way that they change your life, that's something that no one can explain to you until you live it. I'm telling you, until you take really that first months of shots and the medication gets fully into you, because it takes about 4 shots, about 28 days, and the impact that it has on your appetite and on your thought is really, really difficult to explain. And that sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy.
Yeah, it just really changes the way you think about food. It changes the way you eat food. It changes some of the things that you eat. Maybe you've never been full before and now you are. Maybe you never really got hungry before. So being able to recognize those different signals in your body is new.
So if something we said hit home, drop it in the comments. We want to hear the weird, the wonderful, or completely unexpected things that surprised you on your GLP-1 adventure. The biggest thing I can tell you about this is we regret absolutely nothing but one thing. Did you follow that? Absolutely nothing but one thing. Not starting sooner. This has changed our lives. This has changed our health. This has changed our relationship. This is with each other, with food, with our family, and it's been worth every penny and every shot.
And we have spent a lot of pennies. So,
Yep.
if you're just getting started on your GLP-1 adventure, or if you've been watching us for a while, we hope you will subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We put episodes out every day at this point, so, keep watching.
Or if someone you love is thinking about starting a GLP-1, send this their way, and it might help them feel more prepared. If you want to keep this conversation going in person, join us for the Downsized at Sea cruise presented by Mochi. This is our 4-night Caribbean cruise in June 23rd to the 27th, where GLP-1 users like you, or people that want to be GLP-1 users, can come together to connect, share, and relax. We'll do meet and greets. We'll actually broadcast a live stream from the ship. We'll go to Nassau in the Bahamas and Bimini, Bahamas. We're going to go snorkeling. We'll lay out on the beach. We'll have a big time and line dance. Don't tell anybody, but I might line dance.
I checked the prices yesterday, and it looked like some balcony rooms are still available at amazing prices. as we get closer to our sailing date. So we hope that you will check that out. You can go to thedownsized.org and click the cruise tab, and you can find out all the information on how you can get signed up for that.
So if you're thinking about starting a GLP-1, if you'd like to lose weight, if you'd like to be healthier, talk to your doctor and make it happen. My name is Christopher Durham.
I'm Lorine Durham.
And we are The Downsized. We'll see you next time.